Hey guys, got a gun review video for you today. Glock 21. Um, I have been carrying the Glock 19 9mm for quite a while, about 3 years, and I recently picked up this Glock 21, which is 45 caliber, and I was a little nervous about it. It's a bigger gun, and I conceal carry, so I thought maybe that would be an issue, but I was willing to give it a try. And I've never really had anything that was 45 before, and so I didn't know really kind of how that was going to feel. But I've put a few hundred rounds through it now, and quite honestly, it doesn't feel much different than the 9mm Glock 19, just because it's a bigger gun, there's more to hold on to. So I kind of feel like they're pretty comparable. I just get a bigger bang for the buck, you know. The rounds are obviously more expensive, so that's one of the downsides, but if you actually had to use it, I think it'd have a little more stopping power to it. You can see that my 19 is a Gen 3, and there's a few pretty distinct differences. The grip here has got kind of a smooth surface to it, and on the Gen 4s they added kind of like a stippling into the plastic that comes from the factory, so that's kind of a cool upgrade. It feels good. I don't really like the feel of stippling, but this is like a nice, it just feels good. It doesn't feel like sandpaper. It just feels, you can just get a good grip on it. And then you can see the mag release on the 19, and I'm sure it's a little different if you're comparing to a Gen 3 and a Gen 4 Glock 21. I'm sure there's some differences, but just as far as me carrying it, the difference between the 19 here is the mag release for this is pretty tiny compared to the 21. It's pretty big. I mean, it's a nice big button, and I love that about it, to be honest. So that's a really cool feature. The springs are different. There's a few other internal differences, but they're Glocks. They run. They're just workhorses. I was firing some Tula ammo, some steel case brass through it, or steel case ammo through it the other day at the range, and it never jammed. It was perfectly good, and that's not really very good ammo, so it just worked. As far as the carrying it every day, I carry it more when I'm not working, because it's a little harder to conceal, so it's better to have like a kind of bigger shirt on, t-shirt, you know. So I carry this kind of like leisure, and then I carry this or the 43 when I'm working. But to carry it, what I had for it, what I had made for it was this inside the waistband Kydex holster, and you can tell that there's a lot of extra material here, and there's extra material here. This is a screw that you can adjust the retention for it, so that's kind of cool, but there's a lot of extra material there, and so I found that when carrying it was like super uncomfortable with this thing, just because this adds, you know, width to what you're carrying. It wasn't horrible if you're carrying it to 6 o'clock, but I like to carry it like 3 or 4, and so what I did was I bought one of these clip draw that goes right on the gun. It's like 40 bucks. You can get them engraved for like a $10 extra. You can put an engraving right there, and basically the plate on the back comes off, and you put the new one on, and you can screw this on. It takes all of 5 minutes to install, which was really easy. The bad thing about it is that you'd have to take it off every time you wanted to stick it back in this holster, because it doesn't fit with that clip on there, or if you had a different holster, you'd have to get one that will allow this clip to be on there. Otherwise, you'd have to take it off every time. So that's kind of one of the downfalls, but I find that most of the time just carrying it with this is fine. That being said, I usually don't carry one in the chamber, as you can tell from my previous videos, because the Glocks don't have a safety. You can say what you want about that. I know lots of people disagree with that, but that's just how I carry. So it doesn't matter to me as much, but I had a friend that was like, you know, you should put a Kydex trigger guard on here, with like a lanyard on it that you attach to your belt. That way when you pull it out, the Kydex trigger guard just comes off. That's a good idea. If you're going to carry one in the chamber, I would definitely suggest that, because, you know, if you just have this in your pants open and there's one in the chamber, you could catch the trigger on whatever, and it would go off. So that's not a bad idea if you're going to do this. But for me, I think it works pretty well just to not keep one in the chamber and carry it with this. It really is not much different than carrying a 19. So if you're thinking about, if you're on the fence about whether you should get a Glock 21 and you're like, I don't know if it's going to be too big to carry, it's really not. If you put one of these clips on it, it's pretty much like carrying anything else, and it's a big bullet, gives you a big bang for your buck. So try it out. See you guys later.